Hey everybody, it's Allan Cole from Everybody Jam School of Music. I'm here today with Ian MacDougall, one of our fabulous teachers, and we're going to talk about teaching and learning music today. Hey,
Okay.
Ian, good to see you, pal.
Good to see you too.
Hey, tell us how you got to be a teacher of music. I know about your performance background, a lot of years doing that. How does that sort of get you to where you are here as a teacher?
Well, initially it was out of necessity, and I was in between tours. I had, for the longest time when I was younger, and still to this day, I've always, and I think any musician deals with this, a bit of imposter syndrome, where it's like, I didn't feel like I knew how to do anything, where I was like, well, what am I good at? And when I was thinking about this a long time ago, I was like, all I've done is toured. God, I don't know how to do anything. But then I realized that, oh, all I have done is music, and all I have done is tour. So I do know how to do that. And there's a whole bunch of people that want to know how to do that. And I don't know why my brain didn't accept that that was like a thing for a while, because I've always had people tell me for years that I should teach, even before I started teaching. And I was like, I don't know anything about anything. I'm not going to be. And then, I was asked to come in and sub and start teaching at a different music school. And I quickly realized that it was something that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I've been doing it for close to a decade now.
Yeah.
which is really crazy, because I would have never thought when I was in my 20s that I would be a music teacher.
Yeah.
In my 40s.
You're still playing music, still touring?
Still touring and playing music, still doing all that stuff. So I feel like, and I'm constantly learning as well. My big thing with it is I like to kind of demystify a lot of it, especially for, adults and people and teenagers starting bands, where they think that maybe some of these things are so unattainable,
right,
or that you can't do these things. It's actually very, very possible, and it is very attainable, but it does take some things and it's the way that I teach too, is I try to explain things in a way that I would want to know them, which is usually in the simplest way. But I feel like it does resonate and work with people. And whether it comes from playing guitar or to throwing demos together, or like how to book shows, or, all of those types of things.
I've had the good fortune of having you as my teacher and leading, groups of musical ensembles, bands. And one of the things you're really great at is you're able to take people like me who started it, with music at a later age. I was in my mid-50s, and not dumbing it down, but making it accessible and teaching it in a way that it sort of builds on itself over time. And that's not true for everybody. And so I don't know if you're aware of that, but you're very good at that. And so my question is, when you get a group of adults, for example, who have varying, experience levels with music, how do you know where to start? And so what determines how you sort of guide the class?
I think a lot of it maybe is kind of tempering expectations. I don't know. I feel like that a lot of people maybe come in, if it's not perfect immediately, that they get discouraged or something, and really kind of making people feel comfortable in the fact that it doesn't have to be perfect. And most of the time, especially with professionals or people that are professional musicians or that have been doing it for a long time, a lot of times they don't know what they're doing, and also just trying to kind of explain that it's just we're just trying to get from point A to point B, and everything that happens in between, it's okay if we can get if the intention of a rehearsal is to play some cover songs, and if we can get it close enough to the song, that's cool. But really, it's sort of just enjoying it, helping people along, and making sure that okay, we're going from an intro to a verse to a chorus, and being able to do that and kind of help people guide along is almost sort of a leader in a way. But then also, it's a cool thing. It is cool and a great way to learn to play covers, because all of that stuff, the plan has already been laid out. We're not having to pull things out of thin air. So from there, it's just kind of showing people, okay, let's make sure we start this song on cue, on the tempo that feels good for everybody, and then making sure and keeping an eye on the room and making sure that to see who might be lost, and I think, but also creating the kind of sort of environment and vibe, for lack of a better word, that everything is okay. It's not like you're not gonna get in trouble if you make a mistake.
Right.
You know?
Right. I remember one time, I don't know if you remember this, but I was just learning how to sing. I'm still learning how to sing. But I made a comment, I think it was a Black Sabbath or an Ozzy Osbourne song. You said something like, don't focus right now on sounding like Ozzy, focus on sounding like Allan. And then you can start to try to, if you, to the extent you want to, try to make yourself sound like the song.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really helpful. Sometimes before you can, aspire to sound like someone else, you have to figure out how you sound.
Yeah, and just getting comfortable in doing it yourself, like if you could throw some affectation eventually where you get comfortable enough to because I feel like in a way, especially playing other people's, especially with somebody like Ozzy Osbourne's voice is so, like set. It's, it's Ozzy Osbourne. You can kind of have fun with getting into the character of that, but I think at first it's just getting used to being in front of a microphone, because that's scary in itself, and being amplified and being in a room with people that you don't know and you're being amplified, and this isn't something that you do all the time, and just getting that is, I think, enough, and is more than most people do. A lot of people are afraid to walk out of their house, let alone walk out of their house and go to a room with strangers and
you got to work through that
guitar.
That imposter syndrome. You have to work through it, right?
Yep. I think everybody does.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you're an awesome teacher. So glad you're here at EBJ.
I appreciate it, Allan.
Keep rocking and teaching, man.